Now the big brown box truck has delivered me a package, and it's a rather large package all the way from Michigan to the HuntingFarmer headquarters. Now I can't wait to see what's inside here. In fact, it's a custom-made turkey plaque from Goltine.com. Now Goltine makes lots of different plaques. In fact, over my shoulder here, I've been proudly displaying an Euro mount plaque that he has made. He has several different styles available, from singles to doubles to just plain driftwood to display your Euro mounts. But this is a custom-made turkey mount. I was fortunate enough to harvest a turkey this year, and I contacted Philip at Goltine.com to see if he could custom make me a display. Now this plaque not only should be able to display my fan, but it should accommodate several different beards on it. And I'm also gonna have my spurs and legs mounted on this. So let's get into the box and see exactly what this plaque looks like. And then I'll quickly tell you how I preserve my turkeys and how I got everything ready to put into this custom mount. Let's check out what's inside the box. So this is a rather large package. He has it mounted very nicely inside here. Has lots of protection. I'm gonna cut this off and I'll be right back with you. So here is the display. It has a weathered look to it. Again, I gave him the dimensions because I had the fan and we have to put the full-size fan up here. I have it that we can hang several different beards from other years down off of this shelf, and also my legs and spurs should go down below here. Now, my first impressions, this is exactly what I had in mind. Again, I just gave him some of the dimensions and some of the ideas on what I was thinking, and this is 100% custom made. So I think he did especially well. Attention to detail, you can tell he's a true craftsman. But I'm anxious to get my fan in here, and I'll show you how I preserve my fan and how I also arrange my beard to mount in here. So let's get to that next. So after I process my turkey, next I want to move on to removing the fan from the turkey. You can check online, there's several videos on how to do that. But you just want to keep enough feathers here from the base of the fan, but then simply cut that off. You want to spend some time removing as much fat and meat from the base of this. Just be careful not to remove too much, or else all your fan feathers could fall out and you'll end up with a big pile of mess. So it takes a little bit of tedious work there to remove as much of the flesh as possible, but yet you don't want to remove too much that it's all going to fall apart. I also removed the legs from the turkey, and also the beard comes off. And again, you can search online for specific videos of exactly how to do each of those. I want to focus on how I preserve this. In fact, I get a large piece of cardboard and place the fan on the cardboard. I fan it out and I pin it with pins or small finishing nails. And you simply want to have it fanned out so that it's almost a complete semicircle. When you're complete, now, not only do you want to pin this fan out so it's fully stretched out and that it's going to stay that way, you also have to preserve where you cut this fan off of the turkey. I use a mixture, actually it's 50-50 mixture of salt and borax. Now, both of those products are very cheap and readily available. You can use table salt. You can buy a large canister of that. And the borax, again, is rather cheap. And I use a 50-50 mix. Now, there are several other recipes probably online that may work even better than my mixture, but I've always just used the 50-50 mix. It has worked for me. You want to liberally spread that all over the base of this fan. In fact, I put it underneath, between the fan and the cardboard, and then also on top, and actually kind of mound it up, just pile it on there. I feel as though you cannot have too much of that mixture. That's going to help dry this out and remove any smells. You want to allow that to cure and allow that mixture to take out all the moisture. And in fact, I err on the side of caution. This isn't something you probably want to do inside your house because it's potential for smells as you're trying to cure this. And I let it go for months. In fact, every maybe once a month, I would come and maybe add even more mixture and to make sure that it is curing. When you're done, you can remove the pins from the cardboard, and it's extremely lightweight, very dry, and you can tell. And in fact, like I said, I err on the side of caution. I would wait almost an entire year. Usually I am mounting the previous year's turkey this year, and the one I got this year, I'll wait until next year. Again, that's probably overkill, but I want to give it ample enough time to make sure this is going to cure. I do the same things with the legs. I cut them right at the joint of the leg, and then I just hang them by a piece of wire, both legs wired together, and I liberally apply that same mixture of borax and salt to the top of the legs to get these completely dried out. But now we have everything dried out. Let's get to mounting this fan, legs, and beard onto my custom display. In order for my beard to mount in this display, he has accommodated spacing for 12-inch brass. I simply took my beard and I hot glued it inside of this brass. In fact, I tried several different ways, and the easiest way I found is if you fill this brass at least half to 3/4 full of hot glue from a glue gun, and then let that dry. Then I simply filled it the rest of the way up with hot glue till it was flush at the top, and then simply pressed the beard down in there and held it until it dried or it cooled enough to support itself. My very first one, I tried filling the whole thing up with hot glue and then sticking the beard in. It took a long time for that glue to get dry enough to hold that beard. I found if you fill it 3/4 full first, let that dry, and then just fill the last quarter just enough to hold that beard, it works a lot better and it's a lot quicker, so you can learn from my mistakes. But I can have several beards displayed on my plaque, and I glued them all into a 12-gauge brass. Now obviously this was custom made. If you would like one for yourself and want to have one for 20-gauge brass, I'm sure he could accommodate different size holes on the plaque. I shoot 12-gauge. We're going to be using 12-gauge brass. So we have our plaque here that he designed for me. The nice part is we have a built-in fan holder, and it's going to help cover the very base of this fan. It's as simple as, it's pretty tight fit, but you can gently lift up on that and slide your fan down inside of there. So once you have your fan wedged in here between the fan holder, it's a rather easy process, and in fact this turns out great. It simply displays the fan there, it holds it, and you just want to make sure that it's evenly spaced right here, and this holds it in there and actually covers the base of the fan. Makes a really nice display, simple, easy, no tools needed to display your fan. Next, let's move on to the beard. So next we'll move on to the beard, and again he has some custom holes here. You can see 3 on that side and 3 on that side. Those holes are corresponding to 12-gauge brass. And again, I have beards from several years here on several toms. I've glued them all inside of those 12-gauge brass. Now it's as simple as sliding them down into these existing holes. When you are feeding your beards through, obviously you got to start with the top down, because the hole's going to hold the brass and the brass isn't going to be allowed to fall down through, but you just got to take your time and slowly feed each strand through. Now I have my beard and my fan displayed. Let's move on to the last step, and that is the legs. So the last part, and moving on, is the legs, and this may be the most difficult part. Again, when I harvested the turkey, I cut the legs right at the joint, but then I had to figure out what angle to cut these legs on so that they could work on this display. That just takes some trial and error and actually physically holding them here. Then you can use a bandsaw or maybe a sander or a cutoff tool to get that right angle. I then pre-drilled a hole in the legs. Again, this all goes very easily because once these legs are dried out, they're very, very lightweight. But it does take a little bit of time to get this angle just right. Again, I would just physically hold them there and maybe draw a line or use a square to get a nice flat cut here to hold the legs at the right angle. Now Philip included some screws here that's going to allow me to mount these, and again I pre-drilled this hole to make these screws go in very easily to the bottom of this display. So here is the finished product. I think it looks great. He actually had 2 hangers on the back of the display, right ready, and made it very easy to hang it on the wall. I'm not sure if that's going to be its permanent home, but I wanted to put it up there so we could see what the finished product looked like. I am impressed that he could just take an idea that was simply floating around in my head and he brought it to life, and I think it looks great. I'd love to hear from you. Any ideas of things that you would do differently, or maybe something you have done in the past? You can put that down in the comments section. Please check out goltine.com. There's going to be a link down in the description. It's a great looking website, has lots of different options for the Euro mounts. Now I'd imagine he'll have this HuntingFarmer special turkey mount on there also. Maybe you want to get one that looks just like that, or maybe you want to make some slight modifications. Maybe you have an idea floating in your head. Go to goltine.com, contact Philip. Now he can't guarantee that he can make everyone a custom display, but he's willing to entertain your ideas and see if he can bring it to life. So lots of information down in the description. Philip also has a YouTube channel called Goltine Hunting Productions. There'll be a link down in the description also. So your best bet is to simply go down there, click see more. There's going to be lots of information in the description to this video. So again, don't forget to leave a comment. I want to hear from you and maybe something you would do differently or something you really like that you've done in the past. Please leave me a comment, or maybe you have a question. I love hearing from you, and I try and get back to each and every one of you. And that's going to end today's project. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.